All right, we're just gonna do a little mic check, a little mic shootout between the DJI Mic 2. This is a Neumann U87, holy grail microphone for me, um, and the SM7b, a pretty standard podcast kind of speaking mic, great for voice and really great for everything. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime. And let's see. There we go. By Mark Haddon. Oh, I'm recording iPhone down here also. iPhone audio. I guess I'll switch back and forth between them. It was 7 minutes after midnight. The dog was lying on the grass in the middle of the lawn in front of Miss Shears's house. Its eyes were closed. It looked as if it was running on its side, the way dogs run when they think they're chasing a cat in a dream. But the dog was not running or asleep. The dog was dead. There was a garden fork sticking out of the dog. The points of the fork must have gone all the way through the dog and into the ground because the fork had not fallen over. I decided that the dog was probably killed with the fork because I could not see any other wounds in the dog, and I do not think you would stick a garden fork into a dog after it had died for some other reason, like cancer, for example, or a road accident. But I could not be certain about this. I went through Mrs. Shears' gate, closing it behind me. I walked onto her lawn and knelt beside the dog. I put my hand on the muzzle of the dog. It was still warm. The dog was called Wellington. It belonged to Mrs. Shears, who was our friend. She lived on the opposite side of the road, 2 houses to the left. Wellington was a poodle, not one of the small poodles that have hairstyles, but a big poodle. It had curly black fur. But when you got close, you could see that the skin underneath the fur was a very pale yellow, like chicken. I stroked Wellington and wondered who had killed him and why. Chapter 3. My name is Christopher John Francis Boone. I know all the countries of the world and their capital cities and every prime number up to 7,057. 8 years ago, when I first met Shaban, she showed me this picture. It's a frowny face. We'll see if I can get that. This picture. And I knew that it meant sad, which is what I felt when I found the dead dog. Then she showed me this picture. Here, and that is a happy face. I'm kind of moving around a little bit to show you these pictures, and this realistically, this is how you're really gonna learn how a microphone sounds and its character is getting closer, farther away, moving on axis, off axis, like I'm doing with this SM7b, and I can get right on the U87 here. Shaban showed him the happy face, and I knew it meant happy, like when I'm reading about the Apollo space missions, or when I'm still awake at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning, and I can walk up and down the street and pretend I'm the only person in the whole world. I love that part. That's one of my favorite parts of this intro of the book. Then she drew some other pictures. You can see him at the top of the page there. And I'm like maybe coming down with a cold. I got a little tickle in my throat. My voice is very boomy and low and loud. So just a little bit. I know that the DJI 2, this to me sounds so bad. And there's probably some settings I could go into to fix that. It sounds like it's canceling. Um, it sounds like it's canceling out when I get too loud, like this. It's all the way peaking, and I can't seem to figure out how to control the volume normally. And this is I just, not to start ranting here, but I cannot stand Bluetooth devices. I can't stand menus, and this thing has all of the things I can't stand about all of those things all in one thing. I think it sounds awful. I think it's miserable to try to use this. It comes with a little tiny receiver. I'll show you in this very cool little case here, which was, there's a lock on the case. Apparently that's an improvement from the previous version, where I guess this just flopped open and all your stuff fell out. So this is the little receiver unit, which I'm not using right now. I'm trying to use this directly Bluetooth to my computer, and I'm recording the video for this camera on QuickTime. But I don't know. That gives you maybe some thoughts. I'm interested to see. I'm kind of suspicious that the iPhone's built-in microphone is better than this DJI. I think it's just awful. I think it's doing some de-essing, maybe. Sibilance. But I'm not sure. This is a fantastic, tried and true dynamic. Here's a condenser. I'm really tempted to throw up to use a ribbon microphone. I'm a huge fan of ribbon microphones, but that I'm always trying to force a ribbon microphone to work. And it's just honestly for like close range speaking voice, and especially with my voice, it picks up so much bass. So that's not really a practical. I've made some videos with my ribbon that I have. I have a fat head. But that's about my video. I'm gonna edit this and hopefully switch between them and let you know which ones I'm switching between. I always look for videos like this myself. So here you go. You can make a decision. Oh, I do want to say this U87, I used it in a real big time studio. And I've heard like so many examples just from being around studios and stuff, and I think it's my overall favorite. I mean, that's like comparing different flavors of ice cream or what, they all have like their cool little unique things to them. But I think overall this is my favorite microphone. And then it's like this in a shootout, this U87 is always the best. And I was not able to afford one of these things my whole life. I spent my whole life pining after them. I went on microphoneparts.com and ordered the parts to assemble myself on a PCB board, and it took me about a month. I had my dining room table just with parts everywhere, all over it, and the soldering irons. I bought multiple soldering irons to try to figure this out. And the thing I put together, it was real wonky, but I put it all together, got it to work. I would kind of have to like just mess around with the case to get it to work properly, but I got it. And then later, I liked that microphone. I used that microphone for everything. And then I have a friend who is just like brilliant with electronics, and he assembled one for me in one day. What took me an entire month, he did it in one day. And his microphone, of course, was reliable, perfectly soldered. So if you're good at like soldering and electronics and stuff, that's definitely an experience I would recommend. But then I had to get a real job to go and afford this real U87, Neumann U87. And I mean, is there a difference? Do we really care? I mean, I don't know. It's the whole package of it all together. This is my kind of argument for. Of course I try not to be a snob, but it's got the name brand on it. It comes in the case. It has the cradle. I mean, it's just the whole thing. This is just so cool and beautiful to me, and just like so many other things that I waste my money on. But now I'm rambling. There you go. There's my mic test. I'll get to editing, and let me know what you think down in the comments. Down into comments.